This winter storm has just taken a massive turn for the worse, and I need to be completely direct with you about what we're facing. Over 150 million Americans are now under threat from what has become the most significant winter storm to impact the southern United States since 2021. New data over the last 24 hours has dramatically altered our forecast, and this system is now going to deliver a dangerous combination of heavy snow and catastrophic ice accumulations that will overlap in extremely dangerous ways from Texas all the way to the East Coast. This is not going to be a quick-moving system. We're talking about impacts that will last multiple days, with some areas seeing continuous winter precipitation for over 48 hours. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, freezing rain and sleet are already stretching from North Texas back into southern Arkansas. Heavy bands of snow are ramping up across Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and as far north as Topeka, Kansas. This is the beginning of what's going to become a much larger and more dangerous situation. If you're in Little Rock, Memphis, or anywhere along this corridor, snow is about to get significantly heavier as we move through the overnight hours. Tonight is when this system really starts to show its teeth. The area of snow and freezing rain that's already developing is going to rapidly expand in size. By midnight, we're going to have moderate to heavy freezing rain stretching from Dallas-Fort Worth back toward Shreveport and into southern Arkansas. This is where ice accumulation is going to begin in earnest. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and areas of southern Kansas are going to see heavy snow developing overnight, with snowfall rates reaching 2 to 3 inches per hour in the heaviest bands. I want to be clear about something here. If you're planning to travel tomorrow morning, especially across Oklahoma, Arkansas, or North Texas, you need to reconsider those plans tonight. Saturday morning is when the first wave of this storm reaches its peak intensity, but what makes this particularly dangerous is that we have a second wave developing over the Rockies that's going to reinforce and expand this entire system. By lunchtime Saturday, we're going to have a massive area of winter weather stretching from New Mexico all the way back into Kentucky and Tennessee. Nashville and Memphis, you're going to start seeing snow by 6 a.m. Saturday morning. The freezing rain situation is going to become critical along the I-40 corridor, from Little Rock through Memphis, where ice accumulations could reach a 1/4 to 1/2 inch by Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon and evening is when this storm really explodes into something unprecedented. That second wave I mentioned is going to merge with our first system, creating what I can only describe as a massive winter storm. Moderate to heavy snow is going to stretch from the Texas Panhandle back into Illinois and Indiana. But the most concerning development is the freezing rain situation that's going to intensify along the Mississippi River Valley. Areas around Monroe, Louisiana, and Shreveport are going to be dealing with a significant ice storm, where over 1 inch of ice accumulation is on the table. I've been tracking winter storms for over 2 decades, and ice accumulations of this magnitude can cause power outages that last not just days, but potentially weeks. The dangerous part about Saturday night is that this isn't going to be one simple storm anymore. We're going to have one massive system stretching from Delaware and Maryland all the way back into Texas. Heavy freezing rain is going to impact the Carolinas, the same areas that were devastated by Hurricane Helene. North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, and northern Georgia are all going to see significant ice accumulation Saturday night into Sunday morning. Atlanta, I need you to pay attention here. Current models are showing ice accumulations approaching 1/2 inch, which puts your entire metro area at risk for widespread power outages. Sunday morning brings us to the peak impact phase of this storm. Dallas-Fort Worth and much of North Texas are finally going to transition from freezing rain to snow, but not before accumulating significant ice. Little Rock is going to make the same transition, and when that happens, snowfall rates could reach 3 to 4 inches per hour. This is going to be heavy, wet snow falling on top of ice, which creates an extremely dangerous combination for power lines and tree branches. If you're in Oklahoma City or Tulsa, you could be looking at 12 to 15 inches of total snow accumulation when this is all finished. The Oklahoma Panhandle, including areas around Amarillo and Liberal, Kansas, could see even higher totals approaching 18 inches in some locations. The Northeast is going to get hit hard Sunday into Monday. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and southern New England are looking at widespread 12 to 18-inch snow totals, with some areas potentially reaching 2 feet. Boston could see 18 to 20 inches of snow from this system. The snowfall rates in Massachusetts and Connecticut could reach 3 to 4 inches per hour during the heaviest bands Sunday night. What makes this particularly challenging for the Northeast is that temperatures are going to be marginal, so we're dealing with heavy wet snow that's going to be extremely difficult to move and very damaging to power infrastructure. Monday is when we finally start to see this system exit, but the impacts are going to linger. Light snow will continue across New England through Monday afternoon, and then we're done with active precipitation. But here's what concerns me most about the aftermath. We have an Arctic blast moving in behind this storm that's going to keep temperatures well below freezing from Texas all the way up into Georgia and the Southeast for 80 to 100 hours straight. Any ice that accumulates Saturday and Sunday is going to stay frozen until at least Tuesday, possibly Wednesday in some areas. I need to talk about the power outage situation because this is where this storm becomes truly dangerous. We're forecasting ice accumulations that exceed critical thresholds across multiple states. A quarter inch of ice can cause scattered power outages. Half an inch leads to widespread outages. Once you get above 3/4 of an inch, you're talking about catastrophic damage to the electrical grid. Areas along the Mississippi River near Memphis, Tupelo, and Vicksburg could see over an inch of ice accumulation, which puts those communities at risk for power outages lasting potentially weeks, not days. Jackson, Mississippi, and Monroe, Louisiana, are also in the highest risk zone for extended outages. The timing couldn't be worse. Repair crews are going to be dealing with sustained freezing temperatures, dangerous travel conditions, and infrastructure that's been compromised across multiple states simultaneously. Electric utilities from Texas to Virginia are going to be stretched thin, and the extended duration of below-freezing temperatures means that restoration efforts are going to be significantly delayed in many areas. Temperature-wise, we're not just talking about cold. We're talking about dangerous cold. Wind chills are going to drop to 30 below zero across the Central Plains Friday and Saturday, with some areas approaching 60 below zero. Minneapolis, Des Moines, and Kansas City are all going to experience these life-threatening wind chill values. The Northern Plains and Upper Midwest are going to see life-threatening conditions. But even areas like Dallas and Little Rock are going to experience wind chills near 0 degrees Sunday morning, and those temperatures are going to persist. I want to address the uncertainty in this forecast because I believe in being transparent about what we do and don't know. Confidence is high on the overall pattern and the major impacts. confidence is still building on the exact placement of the heaviest snow and ice bands. The southern edge of this storm is still somewhat uncertain. Areas like Houston, Austin, and even New Orleans need to stay weather aware because slight shifts in the storm track could bring winter weather further south than currently forecast. The snowfall forecast has some wiggle room, particularly across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. Northern Kentucky, southern Indiana, and southern Ohio could see anywhere from 8 to 15 inches, depending on exactly how the heaviest snow bands set up. I'm not ready to lock in specific totals for every location yet, but I am confident that this is going to be a significant snow event across a very large area. For ice accumulations, I'm actually being somewhat conservative in many areas. There's potential for these numbers to trend higher, particularly along the Mississippi River Valley and in parts of Arkansas and northern Mississippi. The duration of freezing rain is what concerns me most. We're talking about 24 to 36 hours of continuous ice accumulation in some areas, which is why the power outage threat is so serious. This storm stands out not just for its size, but for how all the factors are aligning to create maximum impact. We have a slow-moving system, marginally cold temperatures that favor heavy ice accumulation, a large population area that's not accustomed to winter weather, and infrastructure that's not designed to handle these ice loads. Add in the extended period of below-freezing temperatures that's going to follow, and you have all the ingredients for a historic winter weather disaster. States of emergency have already been declared in Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Missouri, Kansas, and New York. That's 14 states, which tells you everything you need to know about the scope of this event. If you're in the impact area, now is the time to complete your preparations. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive weather information if you lose power. Have enough food, water, and medications for at least a week. If you have a generator, test it now, and make sure you have adequate fuel. Charge all your electronic devices. If you're planning to travel anywhere in the impact zone over the next 4 days, I strongly recommend changing those plans.